Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. It has been a couple days, not maybe a couple weeks, but I'm here to show you just a quick, hopefully quick, tutorial on Applied Energistics 2. Now this is going for 1.7.10 Minecraft. I have not yet been able to update myself with the more updated version of AE2, if to say they have a more updated version. But nonetheless, with the version that I am running, let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to be showing you just a basic tutorial on how to make a controller. And as you can see, it's not that it's difficult to make, but there is some work involved. So just to get started, we're going to start with making some fluix seeds. And the way to do that, as you see, is some sand and some fluix dust. Now, the way to get the fluix dust: nether quartz, a redstone, and a charged Certus quartz crystal. You can actually find these by mining in the world. If not, if you know how to make a charger, you can charge these given that you have some kind of AE2 power. But nonetheless, let's go ahead. You drop these in a puddle of water. If they would like to go in, that would be nice. Ah, I see. So given that the water is not frozen, go ahead and drop them into a little thing of water, and they will actually turn into fluix crystals. What you want to do, go to a pulverizer or macerator and put these into a fluix crystal, and they will turn into fluix dust. Once you have your fluix dust, you can then come in here and combine it with the sand. Once you've done that, you will actually get fluix seeds. When you get your fluix seeds, you have quite a couple of options to choose from here. You can, of course, not throw it in the thing of ice, but you can take these seeds and throw them in water. Which in this case, if you want to sit here waste your time for anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour, go ahead and do so. But if you're on a server, these things tend to despawn. So the quickest way to do this would be if to say you have an ME controller, or you can actually use an Energistics, which is crafted with a regular fluix crystal, which I just showed you how to make, some quartz glass, which I will show you how to make, and then some iron ingots. Now, that's actually probably easier than the controller to make, but to say you can have that, you could actually put this here instead of the controller. And if you have made what I'm about to show you real quick, if you've made a, oh, come on, crystal growth accelerator, it'll actually help you speed up this process by a long shot. How to craft this is you're going to need some iron, 4 to be exact, some quartz glass, which we're about to go over, ME glass cable, fluix, and a fluix block, which we'll go over right now to add on to the fluix seed. First, you want to start with regular Certus quartz crystals. Go ahead and grab 5 because that's exactly what you're going to need. Take those into the pulverizer, let the pulverizer do its job, and once they are all done, go ahead and pull out those 5. Once you've done that, you'll need to go in here and you're going to want to make sure that you have, well, this is actually a little off, so go in here, you'll need 4 regular glass. It does say to use stained glass or whatnot, but this is the alternative and the cheaper route. So go ahead and get 4 regular glass and of course your 5 Certus quartz dust. So you're going to take that, and we're going to just grab that real quick. Put the glass in there the correct way. And go ahead and drop your Certus quartz dust. And you'll get your quartz glass. Once you've gotten your quartz glass, we've already been through this, and it's frozen again. We've already been through how to make the fluix crystals. Next, you're going to want to make your quartz fibers. Quartz fibers is going to be what you need to make in order to make your fluix cable. So what you're going to need, of course, is 3 more Certus quartz dust, and then you're going to need 6 regular glass, which will make your quartz fiber cable. Since we already have some in my inventory, we're going to skip making this. Once you have this, go ahead and come into here, And given that you've already made a couple more fluid crystals, if you want to be honest, I would actually come in here and I would actually make sure you have a stack of nether quartz, stack of redstone, and a stack of charged sardis quartz, only because you will be using these crystals or fluix crystals a lot. So given that you've made just a bunch of them, you want to come in here, drop those two in. Works for also pure fluix crystals, which are more expensive and take more time to do, given that that's what we're trying to make right now. So take your regular fluix crystal and combine it with your quartz fiber, you'll get 4 of those. But we already have a whole stack, so we're going to skip that as well. Now when you come in here, you're going to need your fluix block. Again, you can either do this with pure fluix crystals or your regular ones, given that if you were a beginning game, I'm assuming this is what you're going to do, which is the fluid crystals. Cheaper, I already showed you how to make it. They're done. Good deal. So let's say you already made that. We're going to now come all the way back over here and finish making your crystal growth accelerator. Take your iron in there, put your 2 quartz glass in there, and your fluix glass cable in there, along with your fluix block. Given that you've done so, that would give you 1 crystal growth accelerator. I would make 4 of these for maximum efficiency and speed. So to assume you've already done this, I'm going to go ahead and grab them. What you can do, given that you also have a couple extra fluix cables and you have this energy acceptor, the way you power the energy acceptor is to plug in your power source straight to it. Just plug in your power source to it. From my knowledge, it works with anything you can hook it up to. It's not hard. You just make your cable, hook it up to it, and if it connects, you're good to go. Now, given that you've done so, you can actually put these in here in really any order that you want. It doesn't matter the size, and you'll know they're being powered because they'll start to glow. Once you've done this, you're going to want, if I can spell, you're going to want a water bucket. Go ahead, take your water bucket, and then drop your seeds in there. We're going to go ahead and give it time, that way the seeds can grow, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and you'll actually see, you'll tell they'll start growing because you'll start to see either bubbles or electricity or sparks of any kind, plus these will also be growing. Of course I did have to make a few changes. You need to make sure, you need to make sure that you have, there we go, it's done growing. You need to make sure that you have a block underneath it, no cables or anything. For those two to actually turn into a pure fluix crystal with all four, that took about 5 minutes, if not less. I did not put a timer on, but I was sitting here watching my recording timer. It came out to maybe 2 minutes, way faster than waiting for 15 or 30 minutes in pure water. So you have those done. Your next step now is to come over here, and you're not quite done making your crafting for the controller, which is ME controller, which is what you want. We actually need to go ahead and make Skystone, given that we already have the pure fluix crystals made. Making Skystone is very easy. Once you make a meteorite compass and you go find your meteor, it'll have Skystone. When you mine that up, take your Skystone and put it in any kind of furnace, and once that is done cooking, you will actually get your Skystone blocks, which is what you need to craft the controller with. So we'll go ahead and give this just another second to be done, and then we'll get to crafting. There we go. So almost done there. Now we have these four and these four. But you're going to need more. As you see, the last component is engineering processor, which requires an engineering circuit, a silicone, printed silicone, and some redstone. First component we need to make is the printed engineering circuit, which takes an inscriber, engineering press, and some diamond. You can find these engineering presses also in the meteorites. It's kind of a catch. You just have to search till you finally get all four, is what the goal is. So given that you have your engineering and your diamond, go ahead and stick the engineering at the top, stick your diamond in the middle, and it'll slowly start to create. Pretty quick actually. In this case, you're actually going to need to make sure you do make your energy acceptor and attach it to your power source. Like I said, these aren't hard to make. You just get your regular fluix crystal with iron and some quartz glass, as I showed you how to make those components. Given that it's done, you're also going to want to make a silicone press, which is silicone, and of course an inscriber silicone press. Take that as well right there and take the silicone in the middle. I won't be showing you how to make silicone due to the fact that it's very simple. Take some sand, put it in a grinder or whatnot, and it'll eventually come out silicone. It's usually a percentage chance. So you go ahead and you have your silicone and you have your engineering circuit, and all you need left is our redstone. So you want to go ahead, go in here, put the engineering on top, redstone in the middle, and silicone in the bottom, and of course let this create. I haven't seen much of a time difference between all three of these, but we have made it. So you want to go ahead and take this, come back to your crafting table, and stick the last component into the middle, and there you go, you have your ME controller. From here you can actually enhance your crystal growth accelerators. You can actually change it to use a controller. With the controller you can also do this as well, which doesn't speed it up necessarily. Yeah, doesn't necessarily speed it up. And of course, you can pretty much do your whole ME. So since we're on the controller tutorial, the rule of thumb for ME controllers is there is a size. So if I'm up to par with my updated version, it's only a 7x7. So 1, 2. So you'll see I did skip to 7. We're going to go ahead and see if the rule is applied. We shall see here in just a second why we cannot do a 7x7. There's many reasons why you don't need to do more than a 7x7, and that is because you will learn every single side and face of a controller, can go up to, I think, 24 channels, or 32 channels. Of course, this tutorial is not about channels, so I will not direct you on this one. So we go ahead and have something bigger by 7 by 7, and if the rule applies, this should not work. So we're going to go ahead and go here, put a creative thingy in there, and see if it works. And you see it does not work, because it's more than 7 by 7. So we need to shorten this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you need to go ahead and break this. And you'll see as we get closer, it'll actually start to work. Ta-da! See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if I go one more farther, it doesn't work. And so it is true, the rule does apply. You cannot go higher than a 7 by 7, up or down. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, can't go any higher either. So don't go any bigger than 7 by 7. 7. And another rule too is you cannot do this, because these then go offline and consider not to be anything at all. Yeah, it shows KAE power, but it's still not working. The only sides you can actually connect to that will properly work are these faces glowing. To get the most out of your ME, what you can do is you can place them here, skip it here, and skip it here. Same thing on this side, skip it there, which if you're OCD like me, you don't like how it's touching like this, so you can skip it here and go here and leave that open. Or you can go here like this, up to you, but that doesn't work. But you can do this and just keep going like so. Another thing is you can also do this. That is usually the main idea of how to build it. Of course, can't do that. Can't do that. But you can go this route. And if I'm right, that one does not show that it works. That one does. And that works as well. But you cannot, of course, do this again. You must give some space. So if you're me and you're OCD, you like to make it, here's open, so here's close. Here's close, so here's open. So you want to go ahead and do the same pattern. Copy it like this on the other side, do the opposite, fill that in with a line, and then, of course, don't do that, like me, and then do the opposite again. Don't do that. And then, of course, I like to copy the sides to repeat myself. That's how you follow the rule of the controller. Yes, it's very colory. It might give you a headache. That's why I always recommend that you put this in the ground and you try to hide this as much as possible, because this can cause some rendering lag. I've had that problem with my computer, but let's be honest, my computer's not the best gaming rig around, just enough to get what I need to do done. Let me also mention another thing, since we're on controllers, is dense cables. It'll take any dense cable, but you cannot do more than 32 channels. It will not work. 32 channels means basically 32 imports, exports, 32 machines it's connected to. These usually don't count, they only count as giving it power. Same thing for these crystal growth chambers, and they have another version of it, crystal growth accelerators, which turn into crystal growth chambers, which is another whole deal. Those count as only giving power as well, unless if you put imports and exports. Another thing too is controllers are a one thing in a one group. You cannot split them in any way. So if you have an ME system over here, and you're like, yeah, cool, okay, I want one over here. No, that's not happening. You just need to take your dense cable, and if you want to put terminals on it to connect to it, match the cable and do a smart cable off of it, so that way you can do a terminal. Of course, you can do as many terminals as you want. I'll show you right here. As many terminals as you want to access one computer. I could have it in many rooms, anywhere. Other than that, guys, that's really all I have to teach you guys. I showed you how to craft a controller. I showed you the rule of controller. Pretty much the rules on building it, what you need to follow, and the best way to get most out of it. Of course, many people have their ways of putting it up. And then you have what I've showed you is the rules with the cables and how you cannot put another controller on the end of it in any which way. Let's see what else. Told you that you cannot only go up to 32 channels, only on the dense cables. As you see in the middle top of my screen, it says 1 out of 32, and that is correct. This is 1, and if I had another one, or another and another, it would now say 4 out of 32. And in this case you can only go to 32, but there's another rule, and that's smart cables. You'll see now again in the top part of my screen it says 0 of 8 channels, just under where it says ME smart cable. That means this can only do 8 channels. And of course, you can only use these to connect terminals or anything else. As you see, when you connect a terminal, it should connect like this. Therefore, this is wrong because you cannot connect things to the dense cable. Other than that, guys, this is Riley with another tutorial and checking out until the next video. Y'all have a good one. Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.